I got some bad news. You're doing everything right. Solid thumbnails, good hooks, consistent uploads. You're studying what works, but somehow creators who have worse content than you are blowing up so fast that it makes your brain hurt just thinking about it. Here's what nobody's telling you. YouTube did not change. The audience did. And what they're looking for now is the one thing that most creators refuse to work on because it's uncomfortable. And look, I get it when the views drop, when the growth flatlines, when you feel invisible despite doing everything that the gurus on YouTube told you to do. The natural instinct is to look outward. So we blame the algorithm, we hunt for a new strategy, tip, trick, hack. Maybe we tweak the thumbnails again. But that's not where the problem is. I've been on YouTube for 14 years, going on 15 years now. I've built my main channel to over 300,000 subscribers, more than 21 million views and counting, after grinding for 8 years before anything really clicked. I've worked with hundreds of creators in my career, and I obsess over the subtle details that separate videos that explode from the videos that disappear. And I can tell you, the gap isn't what you think. Now, quick disclaimer, if you're building a faceless channel or pumping out AI-generated content, this video probably isn't for you. But if you're the face of your brand and you're trying to build something real around who you are and what you believe, this is the only thing that matters. The creators winning right now aren't winning because they cracked some secret cheat code. They're winning because they understood something that most people are too stubborn to ever accept. By the end of this video, you're either going to be relieved or deeply uncomfortable. Probably both. So let me tell you what's actually flooding YouTube right now. It's not competition, it's not oversaturation, it's noise. And it's making audiences hypersensitive to anything that feels kind of fake. AI tools have made it easier than ever before to create content, write scripts, thumbnails, hooks. Anyone can generate them now. Which means that everybody, including the gurus and the copycats, are pumping out videos that look legit on paper. The structure's there, the keywords are there, the formula is there. But something's missing. It's like soulless, right? And the audience can feel that immediately. So they click, they watch for a few seconds, something doesn't land, something doesn't sit well with them, so they leave. They're not leaving because the information is bad. They're leaving because the person doesn't feel real. This shift is what most creators are completely missing right now. They're so focused on the tactical stuff, right? They're so focused on how they can use ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or Sora or fill in the blank, Nano Banana, right? That they have the stuff like the titles and the thumbnails, and they have the watch time hacks and the retention things, and they're so focused on that they ignore the thing that actually determines whether somebody stays, and that's called connection. Now, this might be hard to believe, but people don't want more content. There is infinite content floating around out there. They want someone to believe. And that belief, it's not from having crazy credentials or this big authority. It's about something much simpler and way harder to fake. So here's something that I come back to constantly when I'm working on my own videos. You guys don't have to believe the information that I'm sharing. You just have to believe that I believe the information that I'm sharing. That's the whole game. And just think about that for a second. You can have the best advice in the world, the most experience, the most valuable insights, the most actionable tactics. But if there's even a hint of uncertainty in your delivery, if your audience looks at you reading a teleprompter like this, instead of actually meaning the words that are coming out of your mouth, they feel it instantly. The human brain is incredibly calibrated to detect authenticity, something real. We evolved for this. It's survival wiring. And right now, with AI-generated content everywhere, that detection system is on high alert. People are starving for someone who actually means what they say. And I've seen this play out over and over and over again. A creator with average advice but genuine conviction is going to crush a creator who has better advice, brilliant advice, and a mediocre delivery, because conviction travels through the screen. When I'm making eye contact with you, if you believe that I believe what I believe, that travels through the screen. Uncertainty does too, though, by the way. An audience doesn't consciously evaluate this either. They don't take time out of their day to think about what they're feeling. They just feel it. And they act on that feeling in seconds. But here's what's strange. Most creators, including a lot of you watching this right now, you know this on some level. This is common sense, and yet you still won't do anything about it. Now, what I'm going to say next is going to frustrate a lot of you. The fastest path to explosive growth on YouTube isn't having a better strategy. It's not a better camera, better lighting. It's about becoming a better communicator. And I know that's probably not what you wanted to hear. You wanted a hack, a framework, a little toggle that you could switch and the numbers explode. But what I've learned over obsessing over this stuff for years is that the soft skills matter more than the strategy. How you present, how you perform, how you make someone feel like you're talking to them instead of at them. These aren't nice to haves. These are the difference between videos that get views, videos that get pushed, videos that succeed, and the videos that disappear. The videos that feel like a waste of time because it did not land. And most creators never train them. They'll spend 4 hours on a thumbnail though. They'll rewrite the hook 15 times though. But if you actually ask them to practice their delivery, study their pacing, rewatch themselves critically, silence. Because it's uncomfortable, because it feels soft, because it's easier to believe the problem is external, the algorithm, the niche, the timing, the saturation, than it is to admit that the problem might be how you show up on camera. The creators who break out, they treat on-camera presence like an Olympic sport. They drill it. They study themselves. They get the reps in when no one's watching. That's the work that compounds. Everything else is decoration. And by the way, I put everything you need into my Ultimate YouTube Growth Guide, which is a perfect companion for my videos here on this channel, and it's totally free. I keep getting messages from creators saying that it kind of reframed how they're viewing their channel growth, and I think that's awesome feedback. So if you are ready to take your channel to the next level, click the link in the description box, download that guide, and enjoy. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that strategy doesn't matter. It obviously does. Packaging, for example, still needs to be dialed in. So let's talk about what actually works. Now, I've tested this over and over on my channels. Thumbnails that are too busy, they're too clever, too wordy, they underperform every single time. When I simplify a thumbnail, strip it down, make it very emotionally clear, reduce the visual noise, reduce the amount of words in it, the CTR performs way better. It jumps consistently. This isn't theory. This is pattern recognition from years of obsessing over these details. So here's what's actually happening. Your thumbnails, my thumbnails, they're not a poster. I know that we're thinking like that, but that's not what they are. It's a split-second emotional signal. People aren't reading our thumbnails. They're skimming. They're not saying, what's this thumbnail? No, what's this thumbnail? No, what's this thumbnail? They're waiting for an emotional response. They're reacting to it. If there's any friction, if there's any moment that they have to figure out what they're looking at, they've already scrolled past. They have so many options. So the game isn't, how do I make the thumbnail more interesting? It's how do I make it instantly clear? One face, one emotion, minimal text, a composition that feels so simple. It almost feels too obvious. That's what wins when everyone's fighting for attention and nobody's willing to give it. Same with titles. Clarity beats cleverness every time. We don't have to be overly interesting to get their click. We need to be unmistakably clear to get their click. And by the way, the click is just the starting line of all of this. What happens next is where most creators lose, and they don't even realize it's happening. Now, to illustrate this, my benchmark for every video that I make is 70% of viewers are still watching at the 30-second mark. If I'm not hitting that, something in the opening of the video is broken. And here's why that number matters so much. Think about traditional TV. If a TV show isn't getting enough viewership, if the audience isn't staying engaged, they're not sharing, the popularity slumps, the network typically cancels it. They're not going to continue to give primetime slots to a show that's failing, hoping that someday it figures itself out. YouTube works in the same way. Now, a lot of people get upset when I say that, but here's the thing. YouTube isn't deleting our content, luckily. It just stops showing subpar content to people who have better options. So if you're losing 50, 60, 70% of your viewers before the 30-second mark, YouTube learns something valuable about your content. It's not delivering on the promise that your packaging made. And when that happens consistently, the algorithm gets hesitant, and it makes sense. It's not punishment, it's pattern recognition. YouTube doesn't want to send viewers to a video that doesn't hold their attention. That's how YouTube makes their money. Now, I've experienced this on my own channels. I'll have a video that I think is great, it absolutely tanks, and then suddenly the next few videos feel, muted, suffocated, limited reach, slower ramp up. It's like YouTube's quietly asking, can we trust you again, Adam? And it typically takes several banger videos in a row to rebuild that momentum, which is a little bit frustrating, but consistency isn't just about your audience. It's about proving to the platform that you are reliable. So I need you guys to understand that retention is not a vanity metric. It's the foundation that everything else is built on. The packaging gets the click. The retention earns the push, and we have to have them married together. But retention isn't about tricks. It's not about jump cuts and pattern interrupts. It comes back to the same thing that we've been circling this entire video. If you really want to know what holds retention the easiest, the best, the most effective, it's not about editing. It's not about B-roll. It's not about flashy graphics. It's about you, how you communicate, how present you are, how much you mean what you're actually saying. And you can't hack your way to doing this. You can't outsource it. You can't learn by watching a million tutorials or reading 10 books. Here's what I want you to do this week to get to where you want to be. I want you to record yourself every day for 5 minutes, just talking, no scripting, no editing, and certainly no posting. Then I want you to watch it back and study it like game film. Notice where your energy drops. Notice where it feels like you're performing instead of actually connecting. Look at where you feel like, I am super uncomfortable right now, and kind of navigate why. If you do that every day for a week, it's going to be uncomfortable. I promise you that. And that's the point. That discomfort is the gap between where you are and where you need to be. Because creators who close that gap over time, they win. Everyone else stays stuck wondering why the algorithm hates them. Now, if you're still rocking with me at this point in the video, first and foremost, thank you, but I need something from you. If this reframed anything from you, how you look at your channel, how you're looking at how you're structuring your videos, you had an aha moment, maybe you felt uncomfortable and you felt called out, I want to know in the comments below. Leave the word uncomfortable. Ask a question. Let me know. I respond to every single comment, and I'm really hoping that I can connect with you guys. Look, YouTube isn't changing in some mysterious way. It's just getting better at finding creators who actually connect with an audience and ignoring the ones that don't. So it's not bad news. It's a filter. And if you're willing to do the work that most people avoid, like the plague, the filter is going to work for you. Now, you're not just a content creator. I need you to keep that in mind. You need to be a great communicator. And the faster you start training like one, the faster everything else is going to fall into place. Now, speaking about falling into place and taking your channel to the next level, watch this video next if you want even more structure and very, very tactical strategy on how to grow your channel. If you haven't yet, click that little subscribe button to join the channel family here. Hit that little like button, leave a comment, and until next time, I appreciate you watching.